Hey.
Hey
All
guys,
right,
this is
cool.
the 106 podcast that we're jumping into right now. We've got a very special guest with us today. You want to say hello?
Hello, everyone. I am Puppet, one of the typesetters.
Yeah, he was one of the people who typeset the chapter, not like for Crunchyroll, but when we got the leaks early, he got the early version out. So
It leaks
He's the man. He's the plug.
that
He's the
was
guy with the
Darth,
flame.
and that was Saucy. And I'm Eric, Crone
Sorry,
Shitposts.
that was Darth channeling Pure Festival.
And so now we're gonna start the chapter 106 review. So starting off with page one.
Honestly, could we stop real quick?
Yeah.
I want to take a sec to appreciate Puppet and what he does for the community with his typesetting abilities. You're the man, Puppet.
Yeah, man. He's
Thanks.
The typesetters are superheroes.
welcome.
Like honestly, people
Well-
would just go insane if we had that chapter out there with the raws and they couldn't read it.
That's a fact.
Oh,
That's okay.
yeah, welcome to a couple years ago when that would be the case for like 3 days at a time. We'd get the raws in Chinese, and then nobody speaks Chinese, but we have people that speak Japanese, so it'd be just like well, what the fuck do we do now for a few days until
Oh, we
someone
got
does
our
it.
weebs.
I have a bit of a confession to make about typesetting. One time I fell asleep and I was supposed to upload the Imager album, so it was up like an hour later than it should have been.
That's okay, last podcast I fell asleep during the recording. Now I'm getting checked for narcolepsy.
Relatable.
Big mood.
It's the cardinal sin of podcasting. And just fall asleep, man.
Yeah.
You know what? Fuck you.
Fuck you.
All right,
Fuck
so
you.
let's
Fuck
get
you.
into this
Fuck
chapter.
you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. Fuck you.
So Armin's really nah, okay, I'm not gonna go there. I find it very interesting that Armin's, he's still holding that shell that he found on the beach, sort of playing with it while he's talking to Annie.
Hey,
That is kinda
spoilers!
weird.
That's not till the end of the chapter.
No, it's literally the first image.
The shell is. Not the
They've
context.
read the chapter.
see.
Come on,
If you're here, you've read the chapter.
Jesus
Hopefully.
Christ, Darth.
If you listen to a 2-hour podcast instead of reading a chapter in 10 minutes, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah.
Hopefully you've at least read a synopsis.
They're clearly here for my golden pipes.
I mean, I can honestly understand that.
Your golden pipes are full of coal until last minute.
That's true. And marble.
And marble. And calcium deposits.
So on this first page, we've got Armin. I just want to, before we get into anything, just look at Armin's speech when you weave it all together. It's, I'm sure you probably wouldn't know what to say to this, but I want you to listen. Back then, 3 years ago, maybe we still could have
missed the line.
changed something in those days. And so what's interesting here is that Armin's referring to 3 years ago. So that's basically he's referring to the first 5 arcs of the series up through Return to Shiganshina. And it was all when it was all really chaos and just there's really kind of small conflict between a much smaller cast. It wasn't like all of Marley involved. It was more like it was Armin, Aaron, Levi, Mikasa, versus like Zeke, Rhina, Annie, Bertold.
I think it's more that he's talking about the time after that we see
I think
during
he's
this chapter.
Yes.
Yeah, he's
I
talking
think
about
Back then,
like,
3 years ago.
Satan's invasion
Oh,
tomorrow.
okay, no. Oh, that
Yeah,
actually
because-
makes way more sense. You're right. Never
Because
mind.
the start of the chapter is 3 years later. He's talking to Annie after returning from. Sorry, spoilers. Talking to Annie after returning from the fight, and you could see
Not
his
everyone
speech bubbles
has
pop
read
up
chapter
throughout the rest of the
104.
chapter.
Sorry.
So this whole chapter is one conversation that Armin is relaying to Annie.
Mhm.
I've seen some people even bring up that narration we've seen before that people think is Armin maybe writing a book or something. Like in chapter 50 when he talks about not understanding Ymir's actions, maybe all the narration has been the scene of Armin talking to Annie.
He's just
Spoilers.
been expositioning Annie
You
into
are.
Crystal.
Oh,
I
no,
don't think
I
that
feel
it
like that'd be
it's
kinda
all
cheap.
him talking to Annie, but it's definitely
it
Armin's
can't be all-
the narrator through the series.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe we still could have changed something in those days. So this is like the 3 years in which there might have been an option to for peace, where maybe they could have changed something and stopped the cycle. But it didn't happen.
Meaning stopping Eren.
Yeah. So Eren, I just fucking love what he does here. This is just one of the everything Eren's done as a Titan. This entire arc has just been so raw. Like just under the fucking ship, picks it up out of the ocean, and then just stomps it over to the beach and throws it down like a sack of barley. I don't fucking know.
Yeah, that was awesome.
I'm wondering logistically how he got under the ship. Like, did Eren like swim under there with some scuba gear and then cut his hand, or what's going on there?
Titans don't need to breathe, so scuba gear unnecessary.
That's
You
true.
think he was just sort of like laying down there in Titan form? I assumed that he transformed while he was under there, but that actually makes more sense.
There would have been an explosion if he transformed under there.
Good point.
That's true. The hull would be pretty damaged.
That too. No, he was lying underneath. In fact, I think he talked about it later in the chapter. Let's see. No, never mind. That was just the initial translation.
Yeah. And I just fucking love Hanji here. I love what somebody said one time, and that's that they expected after Return to Shiganshina, Hanji was gonna get all like dark and broody and serious, but she's still Hanji after all of
She's
this.
so fucking Hanji.
Definitely.
RTS was just showing that she can get serious when like her best friends are dying, but she doesn't. That didn't change who she was.
Yeah, I like that most characters in this chapter are pretty much true to who they were. Pre-time skip.
I
They're all
mean,
pretty much the same
this
people.
is pre-time skip, so
Yeah, this is like
Everyone gets
probably
edgy.
about a month after chapter 90. Something like that.
I'd say it's
Time frame.
fairly
I
close
think it's
because
like
I
a
mean
year.
they'd already killed all the Titan. Oh, maybe it is a year because they say Zeke has 3
It
years
was
left.
4 years. Yeah, it's 4 years since chapter 90 when the Marley stuff happened.
Yeah,
And he's saying
this is-
3 years.
Well, no, chapter 90 was a little under a year after Return to Shiganshina.
Yeah, you're right.
So this was probably
Okay,
around
yeah.
that time, like give or take
Okay.
a month.
So it would be right
Yeah.
around 90.
And then there was a 3-year time skip from when they get to the ocean to Marley arc,
Yeah,
and then
okay.
Zeke now has 1 year left. So this must be about a year after they first reach the ocean,
Well, this is about.
because they said it was
Oh
Zeke
yeah,
has
that makes
3
sense.
years left here, which doesn't make sense because that would mean he'd be dying any day if this was right after.
No, you're totally right.
There's also an often forgotten month time skip between 97 and 98.
Which ones were those?
That's
Um,
between the
Right
Falco
after you
meeting
met-
Aaron.
yeah, right after you met Willie, there's just like a month later that shows that like Willie and Magath have just been planning stuff and talking about the military.
Yeah,
Oh,
and
yeah.
during
Had to
that
build
month,
up for
Falco
the
and Aaron
festival
were
and
kind of
stuff.
bonding.
Yeah.
So many little tiny time skips.
And so,
I mean, there have been a couple time skips that even Isayama forgot about, I know. Like, there was one during the Uprising arc, I believe, that then he later referenced as, like, not happening at all.
God.
I don't know.
So,
Time skips are weird, man.
yeah. So we've got Hanji and Niccolo, her new best friend, who she's getting along with. Great! 2 exclamation
Swimmingly.
points. And I just love
I
this
just love how
image.
Levi just, like, says, Hanji, you're a fucking idiot.
Yeah,
pretty
this
much.
isn't working.
He's not interested in playing along with this stupid skit. Come on.
Then we got Colonel Mustard here.
Maybe I was just being a downer.
Who's who
Colonel
says the famous pig
Mustard?
piss line.
If you
I
want
know.
to take this scene, like look at some symbolism in it, Hanji's kind of acting like Armin wants to, like pretending like they can be all buddy buddy, and Levi's like, "That's stupid. You can't."
Mm-hmm. Maybe.
Kind of like Aaron is.
When did Armin do that?
No, he didn't do that, but
Later
Armin
in the
talks later
chapter,
about
kinda.
wanting to make peace and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe. I think this is just Hanji being Hanji, but could be.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. She's got a big, fat, sarcastic look on her face anyways.
Yeah, I mean, at least they pretty much welcome him with open arms. Like,
I also love
they
how
do
she's
have 3
sweating.
Titan shifters.
Open
They could
arms
easily
with a
just
sword
kill
to
them.
his back.
And the Titan that they could just smash them all with right now, but they're choosing not to. So
Yeah,
That's as open arms
like
as
how
it's gonna
Sasha
get.
chose not to kill Gabby. How generous of her.
don't get me started on that one.
Gabby did nothing wrong.
Gabby did a couple things wrong, but
Gabby
It's
did nothing wrong.
Just like the Marleyans
She's my
did
daughter.
nothing wrong, right?
Gabby did nothing wrong. Okay? She's a soldier. She's gonna kill people on the other side. That's how fucking war works. Gabby did nothing wrong.
no, you're right. You're right. Gabby
Agreed.
did nothing wrong.
Gabby and Falco in jail, people have talked about how they'll like meet with people in Paradis and learn about Paradis culture. But now that we know all these Marlene people are here who have been like adjusting to the culture, they could be an interesting conduit to be like, you know, we agreed with you, we thought they were devils, but get to know them a bit.
Yeah.
Versus like Paradis themselves telling them that.
Yeah, that's true.
What it also means is that they kind of.
I'm just waiting for the Gabby Falco team up with Aaron.
Oh, that's
I
not
want
going
to
to
see
happen.
those three talk together.
They're not
You
going
don't
to
think
team
it's
up.
gonna
That's
happen?
not happening. If anything,
No.
they're going to team up with Armin.
But then again, he said the same thing about Zeke.
That's true.
Zeke didn't
I
pledge
deserve
to
this.
kill all Aaron Yeagers, though.
I
Yeah,
deserve
good point.
this.
Then again, Aaron pledged to kill all Titans, and now he's one of them.
With the Titans.
What Aaron should have done as soon as he found out he was a Titan is just shot himself in the head. Bam, series over.
Just Rhino style.
I will kill all Titans!
And
If
so,
he knew he was the founding Titan, he honestly might have.
So then Yelena.
I created Titans. Oops.
Yelena pops a cap in he ass. And
In his head.
That was awesome.
yeah, oh, you can see the hole. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, you never noticed that? The hole's
No, I
right
didn't.
there. Straight
Uh,
to the
Family
yeah,
leaves
Yamato
nothing to the imagination.
is helping out. All the weapons.
Isayama, no. Wit Studios, yes.
Something else a little confused by is that right here we only see one bullet hole, but later in the chapter, Yelena's talking about how their guns are like designed to fire multiple shots at once.
No. They're
No,
talking about, like,
she
they've
meant it has a magazine rather than the bolt actions that the Survey Corps have to
okay.
use.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because the Survey Corps have muskets, one shot, stuff it down, tamp it down, all that. Bam, another one. Doesn't work that way.
Oh yeah, I remember that
Kanji's
being
like,
talked
oh my
about in
gosh,
Uprising.
you guys have multi-shot weapons.
Okay.
And she's like, yeah, it's a fucking gun, idiot.
And
That's how
so
guns work.
Yelena here, she says, let's have some tea. And then she looks at Aaron, and she kind of gives him this look, I've been waiting to meet you, wanting to meet you. And this kind of makes me think forward to when she's sort of referring to Zeke as a god, and they're just sort of talking about God as a general concept in this. And so it's bringing, I'm wondering if she sort of like worships the Titans as gods in some sort of way, or sees them as some sort of like divine being, possibly.
You
And
mean
does this
all
just sort-
Titans rather than just the Beast Titan?
Oh, like the Titan shifters,
More like
yeah,
Titan
in general.
shifters, probably.
Well,
And
later
so
when Anankepen is talking about the concept of God, she has like a panel of reaction, kind of looking like scoffing at him almost. So I don't know if she's as religious about, just like he's so powerful.
Sounds
he's
like
so...
me at Thanksgiving dinner.
Ayo. And so it's just an interesting take on the concept of religion, if that's the case, within the world of
Mhm.
Attack on Titan,
Yeah,
that
it
I'd be
is.
interested to see explored.
That next panel after that, though, it says that big lady shot her allies to death. Not
Maybe
sure
it
who
should just
exactly
be
said
ally.
that, but is Yelena and Ackerman? That's the question.
No,
No.
she's not.
She's not.
Okay.
Get
Why-
out of your ass.
Why would that even be a question?
All right, just wait like 10 chapters, bro. She's an
I don't
Ackerman.
think they're going to introduce any new
Yeah.
Ackermans because they're so powerful, and I think he recognizes that. So he's probably going to kill off Levi soon and like injure Mikasa because they're way too powerful. Any final fight wouldn't feel threatening enough if we have like 3 Ackermans there.
Also,
I
the
mean-
fact that Marley wasn't even sure that Ackermans existed till now.
True.
I don't know.
Well,
If
you
Zeke can
still wanna
hide his
know what they
royal
meant
blood
about-
for like 20 years,
What?
I think an Ackerman could hide as well. If Zeke could hide his royal blood for like 20, 30 years, an
No,
Ackerman could hide.
that's different though. There's
It's a
one
reach.
person
It's a
hiding royal
reach.
blood, and then there's an entire race of super warriors hiding the entire time.
Because his
probably
parents
would-
didn't even know they were super warriors.
If she had Acker hacks, she probably would have fought more in the battle for Liberia versus just like trapping them and then going up to the airship.
Yeah.
Yeah, that too.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Hacker hacks.
Hackerman.
Oh my god. Shut the fuck up. And
No. Freedom of speech, motherfucker! Don't you dare talk to me like that!
Oh my
Talk
god.
about whatever the hell I want. Thank you very much.
Sasha in this chapter, just her falling asleep. I'm gonna miss Sasha.
I was
Me,
more sad.
IRL.
I was more sad about Sasha's death in this chapter than I was last chapter.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, he's
Last
just
chapter,
twisting
I
the
was
knife.
like-
Isayama.
This
I
is
was like,
Isayama
I never
twisting the
really
knife.
liked her, but here I'm like, oh yeah, we're gonna miss all this from now on.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's easy.
You know who else is gonna miss all this? Connie.
Fuck you.
Connie.
Oh.
Yeah, Sasha.
Don't
was his
remind
waifu.
me about Springles being confirmed and murdered on the same page, okay? Fuck you.
Get fucked.
Hey, I'm just saying, man. Connie keeps
I've been
asking about
trying,
kids in
Eric.
this chapter.
People don't want to swipe right on me.
Ooh, rip.
I'm lonely.
Get a
like
dog,
Connie.
dude. You have a dog. You're not lonely.
Dogs can't give you love in the same way that a person can.
You'd be surprised.
I almost said something very weird there.
Yeah, I could
So-
sense
Like
where
you
that
did.
might have been
Yeah, no,
heading.
you did say something weird. It wasn't almost. So Armin and Aaron
weirder.
on this page, I think, is kind of, they're continuing to sort of theme this like separation between them. Armin saying, "Hey, maybe we could talk to them. This is a great opportunity to learn information." And Aaron's looking forward, saying, he's thinking of all the things that could go wrong, if they don't deal with Marley. And say, "Hey, an onslaught could come at any time. We're not ready for it. We've got to
Any
be ready
Jotun
for it."
onslaught. Eric, did you
think
ever watch
Aaron is
the
obvious
Jotun
and
onslaught
correct.
thing that I sent you?
Damn it, I haven't yet. I need to.
God damn, it's been pinned in Discord for months.
I know. Fuck.
Whatever.
Anyways. So we've got Hanji looking at the guns like we were talking about earlier. Yelena just kind of talking about how badass Marley is and how much Paradise is fucked.
Well,
But
they have 1 million soldiers, she says, so even the damage that Paradis did to their army in the Battle of Liberia is pretty much nothing. Like, they wiped out maybe a few thousand.
Mhm.
Marley's still ready to invade any second,
Yeah,
Well,
they
I mean,
wiped out
not-
1 out of 50 divisions. Yay! You're fucked.
And then we've got Levi and Hanji communicating via telepathy. That was pretty cute. That was fun.
I like how she understands what he means and then immediately forgets.
Well, what I don't understand is how she understood Ariel and then freaked out about, oh my god, that's what Ariel means!
Well, I think her pausing on Ariel with like that ... there means it's like a word she doesn't understand.
Well,
Yeah.
the ... just indicates that the word was split up between...
Yeah.
Yeah, it just means
between
like
the panel
air
because it was too long.
real. What does that mean?
Well, no, because they would have used a dash for that.
Oh, yeah, good point. They usually use dashes. Like Levi in the panel right next to it. Then we got the Titan dance party down below.
That was awesome.
That's the weirdest
Though,
panel I've seen in like 2 years.
What I
And
do think-
come to think of it, that's about the last time we saw Pure Titans too.
What I gotta say is, Onyankopon is talking about all the stuff that'll come from the sky. Or wait, no, Yelena is, and like why they can't do this is because of the mindless Titans. But all the mindless Titans are gone now, and if they figure that out, then they can start using aerial things for assaults. Like they can start doing aerial assaults on the walls whenever they do their invasion. So Paradise really needs to get these wall Titans working if they want to survive. Otherwise, they'll get curb stomped.
Which I don't really understand why the Titans are a threat if they're going to come in by air, fly over the Titans, and then land inside the walls. Problem solved.
Yeah,
Well,
just
the
land
Titans are facing
in the middle of
inwards.
enemy territory. Make a nice forward operating base there. I'm sure nothing could possibly go wrong.
Well, I mean, just land at like Ragako Village or something on the outskirts. Just something beyond the walls where the Titans aren't there anymore.
Anyways.
I'm actually surprised they haven't done any like reconnaissance flights. Just send a single plane over, high up, just look, see, okay, walls aren't fortified, okay, good, we can land
Well,
there.
a colossal
UAV
Titan
over real
would
quick.
probably be tall enough to like swat him out of the sky.
Yeah, but do you have any clue how big the walled area is? Armin can't guard all of that.
That's true.
Especially since they, A, don't know planes exist, and B, don't expect them coming.
I'm not entirely sure their planes are high tech enough to go like all the way across the ocean and then like over, over the walls.
Ever
and
heard of
stuff.
an aircraft carrier?
Well, even then, yeah, you got a point there. I think EC. I
mean,
don't
it
think we
kinda
should
just-
dwell on this.
Yeah, it kind of feeds into the second reason she said it's because they've been at war this whole time.
Mhm.
Yeah, good point.
It's not like they can't. It's just that they haven't really been able to right now. Been using those for other things.
They can also send a Zeppelin, because we know the Zeppelins can make it all the way from Marley to Paradise. Just saying.
That's true. That was the latest model, though.
We know Marley's technology sucks. Like their navy
Yeah.
is
That
like
is true.
the worst navy in all the nations.
And imagine their air
Yeah, they only
force
had
is
12
even worse.
battleships. Or 21 battleships.
Yeah.
Unless the 3 fleets were 21 battleships each, in which case... Oh,
I'm thinking it was 21 each.
well, fuck.
Well, we know 32 disappeared, so they have to have
Good
Yeah.
point.
So then we talk about Yelena talks about how she met Zeke and how she joined what is essentially a Zeke cult. It almost seems like
Yeah,
he
pretty much.
guided us. Jesus Christ.
part's a little rushed. Like she looks up and sees Zeke, and then suddenly she thinks he's a god and wants to like follow all of his orders. Like there had to have been some conversation where like he decided that she was trustworthy enough and took her aside. I
Well,
feel
I'm
like
sure
there's a
there's
lot
more
more
to
there
it.
than just, oh, look, a Beast Titan, I'm going to worship him now.
Well, of course there's a lot more there, but that would be the entire fucking chapter. She's just giving a short recap to Hanji.
Mhm.
That's true.
Yeah, like it's not important. We get the idea. We can fill it in our heads.
This makes me think, like, who all else is on this anti-Marley? What about Best Girl and Porco? Are they a part
Probably
of
not.
this?
If
Well, no,
they
'cause-
were, they wouldn't have been dumped in a hole.
Yeah, also Peak was about to like reveal Zeke's betrayal, and obviously she wasn't in line with Yelena since she had to think about like who that was. So yeah.
Mhm.
Okay.
Also, they would have then got on the blimp and not tried to shoot it down and not been brutally murdered by the Paradis forces.
They weren't murdered. Still
Well,
alive.
barely.
Barely.
But actually, now that I think about it, you did say Best Girl, and no, Gabby wasn't in on it either. She's in prison right now.
Well, she will be murdered soon, so have
Fuck.
fun with that.
You don't murder a prisoner of war.
Alright, they say their goal is to free the Eldian people. But are we sure we know what that means yet?
No.
I like this translation better because the fan translation said like we're here to free all the like Eldians on Paradise, which didn't make any sense to me. Like Zeke was just killing them all. Why would he want to free them? So this one being Eldians in general, I think that Zeke's goal is to liberate the mainland Eldians, and he's like, well, Paradise has stuff to help me. I might as well liberate them as well.
Well, what I think.
I don't think Zeke would try to help one half of the race and not the other.
Yeah.
Well, he took joy in killing like 5,000, not 5,000, like it was like 180 or something soldiers. So
Mhm.
I mean, Kruger had to chop off the dicks of countless Eldians, so
yeah, but we didn't see his inner monologue about like how stupid they were.
fair.
Mhm. So
And
yeah, I think that my personal theory is that simply because this would make the most dramatic sense, is that Zeke's plan is genocide of all non-Eldians, and so there's only Eldians left.
I love
And he'll use
Do
genocide.
you really think that's his plan?
I mean, I think it makes the most dramatic sense because if you think about it, if they don't release the Wall Titans, then there's then they'll get curb stomped. If they release the Wall Titans, then they'll curb stomp the other side, and so.
So haven't you considered the third plan here?
The third plan is that they just use it as a threat, in which case it ends peacefully. Which
Or
would be
Zeke has a separate plan that does not involve the Wall Titans, because that was pretty heavily hinted at in this chapter.
that doesn't involve
Really?
the Wall Titans.
Yeah.
This whole chapter, Zeke seemed to be saying, "I really want to snag those wall titans. Let me touch Aaron."
No,
Yeah,
that
exactly.
was
He's-
Aaron saying that.
No, his secret plan.
Aaron jumped to conclusion and said, "Oh, okay, he must be trying to get the Wall Titan." There's probably I forget where I saw the write up on this, but there's probably something else that Zeke was wanting beyond that doesn't involve destroying the whole world.
I've got a crazy idea that's totally not true. The Eldians can't suffer and can't be discriminated against if they're all dead. It's the whole Wall Titans are facing inside thing. You know?
Isayama did want to have the Mist ending where everybody dies.
Yeah, maybe Zeke wants to meet Eren so that he can use the Founding Titan's power to compel all Eldians to just like walk into the ocean and drown themselves, and that's the ending.
Go Full Metal Alchemist.
I mean, there are other powers to the Founding Titan than just the Wall Titans. Like, you can change people's memories and shit.
But the Wall Titans is
Zeke
such
may
a
know how to,
fucking
like,
Chekhov's
unturn
gun.
people from Titans. Like, there's so many other things you can do with it. I know it is. Like, the Wall Titans will eventually come into play, but what about the other powers? Like, that's what Zeke's actually trying to get to.
Yeah, I agree. I think they'll come into play, but I don't think it'll be the end of the series. Like when they do, like they're not gonna walk, and then it's the last chapter.
Yeah.
The last panel is just the walls crumbling.
God.
The last chapter is
Christ.
just the Beast Titans Eldian ass.
Something starts to come out of it, and then it's a fucking cliffhanger ending. Sorry. Anyways, so like Zeke's demands.
Oh yeah, he's listening to his demands.
He's let onto Paradise, and that he gets to talk with Eren. So he's definitely trying to get the Founding Titan powers to activate. He certainly has a plan involving that.
About that, I don't think he just wants to talk to Eren, because I assume they talked in Marley. I mean, that's what like the glove was representing, that he'd visited him. So if he just wanted to talk with him, they didn't need to do this huge plan to like sneak Zeke out of Marley by pretending to kill the Beast Titan. So I think the whole point is that he wants to talk to him on Paradise, so to do something with the Wall Titans.
Exactly.
I don't think he wants to immediately use them though. Like as soon as they meet. I honestly think it has more to just do with them like making contact, so we can see some more memories here. Because he might have the Warhammer Titan, so
that's true.
Contact with a royal person helps out usually with recovering memories.
Perhaps.
I think they're just trying to get some info.
Tybers were pretty like out there, not doing much, so there's not really much value in their memories.
Unless it goes
maybe
way,
like
way
the first
back.
ones though, the way back ones. Like he's got
Aaron's
the
never
Titan
really.
on, so.
Aaron's never seen past people's memories aside from.
But he's getting like he's getting old now.
We've never really seen memories work as like way back. Like you can just dig and go as far back as you want. It's always like the predecessor or the one before that.
I just feel like it'll be different.
Right, like all we've seen from Aaron is
Titan,
one little glimpse through Frida's eyes. We never saw
that's
anything
when he
from
touched
Kruger.
Historia.
What?
Which is somebody with. That's when he touched Historia, somebody with royal blood. So.
Right, but even when both Historia and Rod were groping him, he didn't see anything from Kruger. He didn't see anything about Marley whatsoever. He just saw Grisha.
They weren't shifters though.
Maybe if he gropes Zeke and Historia at the same time, he can get Uber memories.
Yeah, he might like implode if he touched them both at the same time.
Or explode in his pants.
Yeah, that too.
So
I think this theory this chapter kind of confirms my theory that, not confirms, kills my theory that Dino is still alive. Unfortunately,
rip.
Makes me sad.
Yeah, I was really hoping that was true, because that'd be cool, but I never really thought it was.
I really wanted it to be true, just so it would come completely out of left field and surprise everyone and be like, haha, motherfuckers, called it.
I just wanted to see Eren talk to Dino. Like, he had the whole apology talk with Reiner. I want to have that with the one that ate his mom, you know?
That would have been really interesting to see. You ate my mom!
I am your mom! I mean, no, not really.
But I remember seeing your tits. Nice.
So what I'm really... So this thing
just
where
so you
Aaron's
know,
talking
I
about...
have all of Grisha's memories. Just saying.
Wink, wink.
You dirty girl.
What frustrates me about this chapter, this is probably the worst part about this chapter, is on this page where Aaron's talking about crushing everything underfoot. the thing of the wall titans is like fucking green screened onto his hair for some reason.
What page are you talking about?
It's-
He's
it's-
seen,
Oh,
like,
okay, I
5
see it
pages.
now.
Yeah, I scrolled down a little bit, but I just noticed that, and now it's pissing me off.
Yeah, that looked kind of cool at first glance. When I look at it closer, it looks really pretty weird.
It looks really
I
hokey.
like it.
Why are they on fire? Or is that smoke?
It's steam, head ass.
I'm gonna believe it's fire.
They're colossal titans.
That looks kind of
Fire
like
type.
fire to me, with like the embers and shit.
Aaron,
Aaron's
the
the
fire type.
fire, so
Aaron is the only fire.
not
Aaron
according
is
to
a
episode
fire-
2.
Oh god. I just realized the anime is probably going to change the Warhammer Titan fight to like Aaron turns into fire and beats her that way instead of the way he did
Do I
in the
need to
manga.
link
God
you
damn
that
it.
thread I wrote again about how fucking how berserk mode isn't a thing? Because it's not a thing.
How what
I
now?
feel like
Berserk
it
mode
is a
isn't
thing.
a thing.
I feel like it is a thing.
What's a thing? You're cutting out again.
Berserk mode.
Berserk
it's not a thing.
mode from season 1.
I feel like Berserk Aaron was just like the Attack Titan persona taking over because he
Yeah, I
talked
think
about
it was
just
the
like
will of the
fighting for
Attack Titan.
freedom.
He
Yeah.
gained
Yeah.
no abilities. It was entirely a mental change.
Dude, he just
Hmm.
got he got his face destroyed, bro. Destroyed, and it instantly came back.
Fire
'cause
started
no
running through his
Titans have ever-
veins. His eyes changed color. He completely lost control. No, that was definitely something different than just.
He didn't gain any
mental.
abilities, is what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I feel like it was just a visual thing. Like when Mikasa's brain like got like a lightning bolt in it when she like turned on her Ackerman form.
I don't
No, I
think
feel
so.
like that's
Because
like a
that was
visual
that
thing.
was the same lightning the coordinate has and that the Titan shifters have. I think that was a legitimate thing.
All right.
That
Well,
could be true.
moving on. We've got Aaron
I think-
revealing.
I think we'll see Berserker mode again. I just want to say that before the series is over.
I hope not.
It would be okay if they didn't, but I think it'll be back.
We've got Aaron sort of revealing all the stuff about Historia, and it's just so fucking convenient. Just like, yeah, I didn't talk about it, but for a year, but now that we don't have to kill Historia,
Here's our key out of here.
yeah, now here's our
Yes.
key out of here, and so now
Sorry I
we
didn't
have
tell
a
you guys about this for
justifiable
a year,
plot
but-
excuse for not having done this earlier and waiting to do it with Zeke, so that Historia can continue as a character without being killed off.
Well,
Because
another
has
thing,
more plans for her.
he's not just protecting Historia because if they can't open Annie, then the only Titan they could feed to Historia is Armin. So he's kind of protecting Armin as well, since that'd be their only option to Titan.
Oh,
her.
yeah, that's
Unless
true.
they go turn into a pure Titan, which I don't think they do that to their queen.
They had no, if it meant
Well,
controlling
that was
the wall
part of the
titans.
issue was they didn't want to turn her into a pure Titan.
Yeah.
But now we have Nutcracker Aaron.
Also, I think the whole point of this chapter is that like a lot of non-Aaron people aren't ruthless, like the heads of Paradis and Armin and them. So I don't think they'd go for the Historia Titanizing route, even if he brought it up.
Mhm.
Like they'd look for some other nicer route.
Exactly might.
Yeah, he probably would.
That's true.
Plus
He's
she's
the one in chapter 90. He
Pixis
wants to
would
use the
too.
wall
Pixis
Titan.
would, because then he'd get a sexy female Titan.
Oh my god, shut the fuck up.
He has
I
a
mean-
wife.
Don't deny it. Yeah. Plus Historia is their last royal, so they probably wouldn't want to make her deal with the curse.
Mm-hmm. She could just fuck someone, I don't know. 13 years,
Yeah,
I
why
mean,
didn't Aaron
pregnancy doesn't take
suggest that?
13 years, is all I'm saying.
Well, that's what Zeke's here for.
Yeah.
Are you suggesting inbreeding?
It's not technically inbreeding if the family lines have been separated for
Sure,
100
they're
years.
like second or third cousins. I think that's cool.
No, they'd be farther than that.
They'd be
So-
way
Okay, well,
farther than that.
You're making my point. Let's
That's
get it
why
on.
I brought it up.
Well,
'cause
actually,
it-
not way farther, because that is only like. It always seems like the Carl Fritz and all that was like 1,000 years ago, but that was just like 120 years ago.
right,
So they
but
share, Carl Fritz is like their
but-
great great grandparent. Like,
But here's the thing, though, is it was said that Dina's line was a completely separate family line. So she was already probably like Mikasa is to Levi.
that's true. That's true.
They're kind of like the lesser noble royal family.
Yeah, so she's not a descendant of Carl Fritz. She's like, her grandpa was like his like second cousin or something.
So not incensed or incest, they're free to fuck. Ape goes wild on blonde queen.
Oh my gosh.
So moving on.
I also think this is the weirdest conversation we've ever had on a podcast, just officially.
I'm sure we've had weirder. So
have we had weirder?
yeah, I'm sure
Probably.
at some point.
We just
We've
debated the legal status of incest. What's
So
the weirder
Yelena-
thing?
So Yelena is luring over the survey fleets, all ominous like, and then
He's
we've
Can I
got
jump- Can I jump back to one quick thing from a paper
sure.
before the Aaron Historia thing?
Yeah, man.
When they're going over, when some like official in Paradis is screaming about all the terrible things Zeke has done, he mentions that he turned the people of Vergaco into Titans. Then we see Connie looking sad, and then he mentions that he killed all the Survey Corps in the suicide charge, and Flock looks sad. Everyone's been talking about how Connie needs to have some conversation with Zeke because Isamo's kind of forgotten that he has a vendetta against him. So it doesn't have that much attention, but I'm just glad it's here, remembering that Levi's not the only one that wants to kill Zeke.
I hope we get that conversation at some point.
Yeah.
I wonder
Maybe
if they still have
107.
Connie's mom sitting around somewhere.
I think so. They wouldn't kill her.
Just an interesting thought.
And so Armin, this time he definitely, I'm pretty sure, he transformed. Actually,
He
maybe he
looks
was
so
just kind of lying
sick.
in wait under there. Do you think Armin
Oh,
transformed here?
this time you think he exploded?
You know, it might be had a sort of a weak transformation like Bertolt had at a Trost.
At Shiganshina. Well, I mean, you
Yeah,
can
he didn't
see
actually-
the panel where everything lights up and there's an explosion sound, so that was clearly him transforming.
Yeah, crack.
But he didn't
Also,
use the
Like,
steam
he
attack.
wasn't a nuke. Yeah.
Yeah, also,
Yeah.
it's pretty fucking hard for a 60-meter Titan to lie down underwater.
Mm-hmm.
Especially
True.
one that's constantly giving off steam.
That's true.
Just saying.
That'd be an efficient way to cook things. Just have them lie down in the ocean, let
would
out
be.
steam, and then just throw stuff in the water. Just
Hey,
boil the
free-
entire sea.
Free cooked fish.
Oh my god. Maybe that's how they got Nicolo's food.
Lord Kurugi! Bubbles! Did any of you get that reference?
No.
No.
Y'all motherfuckers need to watch Code Geass.
Oh, I have seen Code Geass. I'm like 10
There's a-
episodes from finishing it.
It's before then. There's
Okay, I
a
don't
part
remember.
where the Black Knights are in a submarine and they're trying to escape the Britannian army. So Lelouch shoots an underwater pocket of, I think it's methane gas,
Mm-hmm.
and it all just bubbles up and just sinks the entire fleet because it destroys the buoyancy.
Oh, yeah, I remember now.
And one guy comes over the radio, Lord Kurugi, bubbles! And it's just the one of the best lines of the dub, really.
Oh my god. It had a pretty good dub. I love the dub. Johnny Young
Shit.
Bosch. I wonder if Johnny Young Bosch
I
is ever
actually
going to get a
have-
role in Attack on Titan.
I actually have a, I'd like to see him as Willy.
I could see that.
Yeah, I have a box set of the DVDs previously owned by Yuri Lowenthal, who is the VA for Suzaku.
Yeah.
Let's find this.
Yuri
Lord
Lowenthal.
Kurugi. What?
Yuri Lowenthal is a
What
great
else
voice
has Yuri
actor.
Lowenthal been in? The name sounds familiar.
Everything.
Yeah.
Actually, a
Persona-
surprisingly small number of things in anime, but he usually has pretty big roles. He was
He's
Simone
in,
from Gurren
like
Lagann.
all the
He was
Persona
Sasuke
games, He is
Uchiha.
Spider-Man in the new Spider-Man game. He played Dr. Oliver Linton Wolf in Ingress. Fuck yes, Ingress.
He's Marth from Fire Emblem, not Melee Marth.
Who from Fire
English
Emblem? Marth? Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
Marth.
I've never heard English Marth.
He's been in some of the newer games. I also think Male Corrin, I think, is him from Fire Emblem Fates. He was Ben
That's probably
10.
where I know him from best.
Yeah, Yuri Lowenthal. He was Shinra from Durarara, if any of you guys know that one.
Nope.
Only thing I know that you've said in the past 5 minutes is Ben 10. That's all I got for you.
Yeah.
Okay, back to Attack on Titan then.
Yeah.
Are we still recording, by the way?
We could
Yeah, we
steer
are.
that back towards Attack on
We're still
Titan. That'd
recording.
be incredible.
Okay. It's interesting on the next page how Armin says it was fun back then, because you never think of Armin as someone who like takes joy in like attacking people.
No, wasn't what he was saying was fun. What he was referring to being as fun was making friends with all these Marleyans.
I see.
Well,
no,
no, I disagree because he said that before they started making friends with the Marlians. It was fun back then. He is saying right after imagery of him sinking a ship.
He
making
didn't sink
friends
any
doesn't
ships. He
start
just
for like
corralled
another
them.
3 pages.
Well, no, on the next page, the rest of the square
Yeah.
bubbles about him talking are about them starting to make friends with them, even though they were prejudiced against them.
If you look at it as one speech, it makes a lot of sense. It was fun back then. True, as Eldians, we were feared and hated by the world, but people on the other side of the sea, whose faces we didn't even know, by people on the other side of the sea, whose faces we didn't even know, but not all of those people across the ocean were our enemies. And that's what he's saying was fun. It was fun back then. True, as Eldians, so that is clearly referring to what he said back then as sort of making it like sort of conditional, like, yeah, okay, it's true that this happened, but what I was saying about it being fun is still true because not all of them were our enemies.
This isn't the first time this isn't the only time in the chapter that the placement of word bubbles got across the wrong meaning, because later people thought that Zeke's grandparents were dead just because they took that word bubble alone versus the whole conversation, which is translation.
I think that was just the translation, not just
that was the translation.
That too. Yeah, this translation fixed it a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, the translation this month was really subpar.
And so we've got Onyankopon. I still almost call him Olangobo. Onyankopon telling both the ports. We get a little comedy scene.
With John getting fucking... Don't come in my room, Mom! I'm not doing anything! I'm just thinking about mixed baths, okay?
Wasn't he like drawing or something actually there?
Yeah.
Who?
Well,
in that scene.
Well, in the OVA, he was drawing.
He was drawing a girl, though.
He was drawing a girl in the OVA, but in the original thing it was based off of the fake preview, it was very obvious that he was masturbating while looking at porn.
Well, I mean, it's implied, even in the OVA.
Why does Connor keep talking about kids? Does he have a kid?
Nah, he just.
I think it's just showing how
he likes
stupid
kids.
He is.
He just really likes kids.
Oh, does he?
I think it's because he thinks like a kid.
Rip Connie.
This is a port.
Exactly.
I like potato. And that's why Springles is a thing.
Because his head is shaped like a potato. Well, he has hair now, so maybe not.
He's a man.
Yeah. And then we've got
most
Capone talking about
guys
his idea
are considered
God.
men when they grow hair on their chest. Connie's considered a man when he grows hair at all.
No, God. So, Yonko was talking about his idea of God. Yelena apparently isn't a big fan of
You
this.
skipped the best part in the chapter.
Oh my God.
What is this?
Why are you black?
The best.
Oh, yeah.
That is not the
Sasha,
translation.
you can't just ask people why they're black.
That's true. Don't just ask a black person why they're black. It will end poorly.
And we've got this budding friendship.
I may or may not have done an actual spit take when I read that line. It was a bad time to be drinking water.
Oh my God.
We've got this budding relationship between Hanji and Yonkapone.
Well, look, real quick, Saucy, this might sound bad, but what was your reaction to that line?
I mean, when you see it in context, of course, I didn't feel too bad about it because, of course, Sasha's dead now, so
so she gets a
can't speak too ill of the dead. But still, once Onyankopon like gave his explanation for it and stuff, didn't exactly bother me or anything.
Yeah,
it was a really good way to handle it because they'd never seen other ethnicities before, so if they just ignored it, it'd be kind of weird. So, but people weren't thinking he'd address it since it would come across strange. But then Onyankopon's answer was really good.
My issue with that line is just that it came out of nowhere. Like, this is not the first time Sasha's seen Onyankopon.
That's true.
She's just like, holding on to this until it just bursts out. Why are you black?
The first translation said, like, I've been wondering for a while, and this one left that out, so that might be a part of it.
I've been wondering for a
But she just
while.
Like, it
butts
just
in.
keeps
It's
her
just
up
the
at
most
night.
inappropriate time. Like, okay, well, we're gonna work on this port. Here's how you build it. Why are you black?
I just think that was kind of Isayama's point. Sasha was always like the kind of the comic relief.
She was kind
amongst
of
the
out
serious
to
moments.
lunch, you could say.
Die.
Yeah.
I'm
And now
just
that
glad
she's
she
dead
died
now,
after
like,
she gave us this line.
yeah, there's no more comic relief in Attack on Titan. We're serious now.
Well, there's Connie still, but... Nah.
His girlfriend just died. I don't think he's
Oh,
going
and
to be
Hanji.
cracking jokes.
His girlfriend just died, and he's being forced to team up with the guy that turned his mom into a Titan.
Woo!
Exactly.
It's a dark day for Connie.
I just love Yelena's just like, how dare you say there's a god in this world other than Zeke? We've got Sasha, you know, indulging herself in Nicolos' feast.
I
And this-
wonder, did she bite through the shell of that lobster?
That's
I'm
what it
pretty
looks
sure
like.
she tried
Oh no!
to. Oh my!
No, even worse. She just bit its fucking head off.
Ah! Ah!
Look at her.
Where else are you
biting.
gonna
The
start?
claws are on either side, and there's an antenna sticking out of her mouth. She bit its head off.
Oh my
Like, she
god!
enjoyed it.
And she
Also
enjoyed it.
noticed Niccolo. He started the chapter off calling them devils, but now he's calling them Eldians.
Oh,
I like that there's still some
Like that,
prejudice, you know, that he's calling, like,
Yeah.
generalizing the
Yeah,
race, but
but-
he's not calling them demons anymore, so it's progress.
but now he's got a little
And
bit of
then
a
he's
crush
got
on Sasha.
Blush when Sasha orgasms.
Yeah, he does. He's got a chub, no doubt.
Like a half chub,
Yeah,
you know?
fair enough.
I'm so
And then
glad
we've got
Riker's
the
not here.
EMA scene. Armin talking about the port. Armin's just loving how much, you know, they've grown closer together, how maybe we could find a peaceful solution. And we get this, like, you know, little train scene.
Oh, it makes me want
honestly
to throw
kinda
up in my mouth.
I
assume
think
that-
this scene is interesting because it draws an interesting parallel with Aaron and Armin practicing their shots, and then that scene back when Reiner and Berthold were trying to practice their shots.
Hmm.
And they're also talking about Berthold's memories, which Armin is blatantly lying about.
Huh. That's
Well, he's
interesting.
not-
I don't think
I think
Armin.
he's
Armin
bending
doesn't
the
shoot at
truth.
all.
Oh
if
no, he
Armin
doesn't.
wanted to, if he wanted to blatantly lie, he would say, no, I haven't received any, but he said nothing that seemed useful, which is like, yeah, I received something, but I don't
Yeah,
want to
so
tell you
ju-
about
so
it. And,
just-
like, his
Yeah, but
tricky
he
face just
also
never dropped
he
it.
says, "Oh,
Annie's ass.
no, nothing that useful," and he looks away right at the same
Yeah.
time.
Mm-hmm.
That's no, he received something.
And we know
Now-
that Isayama said that he's not done drawing Bertolt, so we might have some big like Bertolt revelation that Armin knows, or just memories like humanizing Annie in them.
I never heard that he said that. It's interesting. But yeah, I mean, somebody said that it seemed like what Armin inherited was Bertolt's love for Annie. I mean, kind of Armin and Annie was already a little bit of a thing.
Yeah.
Mhm.
They had a relationship, you know, they had a friendship, they had a dynamic. She cared about him.
Like Annie didn't talk to anyone, so the fact that she talked to Armin made it seem like she loves him. Like she had
Or-
more interaction with him than anyone. So
Yeah, she
so
wants
it
the
just makes it
coconut.
stands out.
She
Don't we
wants
all?
the cocoa nut.
She wants his. She wants him to coconut in her. Oh, you're gonna stop there.
So we've got Armin
Are you ready
looking
now?
back on all the happy times they had and saying, oh, we can understand each other. And Aaron is instead just focused on getting Zeke's plan done, which he's thinking on like big picture, fight to survive. Armin's thinking on the more human aspect. And this
I'm
and
agreeing
then
more
this
with Aaron
Interesting,
here.
because initially Armin was the one who was always pushing for terrorism, like talking about false flag attacks using Aaron and all that.
And abandon your
Now they've just-
humanity.
They've just completely flip flopped.
Mhm.
Yeah, I don't know how Armin's taking humanity's side here, and he's not even a human anymore.
Bert's memories.
He also has less than 13 years.
Oh
They
yeah,
don't
maybe
have
he saw
time.
stuff from the other side in Bert's memories. Maybe that's why maybe that's the importance of Aaron asking that. because Aaron is noticing.
He's
how
like,
on
are you
the
trying to
other
side
side.
with them, kind of thing.
Oh.
Yeah,
Oh.
and
Kind
so
of an
He's
inverse
so
Reiner.
lame.
Because Aaron hasn't seen it from their perspective. Like, he's only seen Marley from Grisha's perspective. He hasn't seen, like, the Warriors' memories. He doesn't have any of those. So he's like, Armin, don't you start siding with them? Because this is before he goes over there and meets Falco and says that we're all the same on both sides.
Mm-hmm.
And then proceeds to kill them anyways.
Exactly.
And so, I love this exchange between Armin and Aaron here. Armin says, "We can speak to the Marley and others around the world once the port is done if we just resolved our misunderstandings." And Aaron says, "What do you mean by misunderstandings?" Armin says, "People thinking we're scary." And Aaron says, "The world sees us as monsters that can turn into titans. Are they mistaken about that?" And so it's just, it's shown this complete 180. Aaron used to be a human fighting to kill all the titans, and now in his head, he's a titan fighting all of the humans.
And at the same time, Armin spent the whole first season being, Aaron, sometimes you have to throw away your humanity in order to do what's right.
Mm-hmm.
In order to defeat a monster, you must be willing to sacrifice your humanity.
And now he's thinking the only way to do this is by being as human as possible.
Yeah.
Well, the difference here is they aren't fighting monsters. Armin views them as humans they're fighting, and so he
To
doesn't
fight
have the same
humans,
mentality.
you must sacrifice your monstrosity.
That's kind of where he's going. I agree more with Aaron here, though, because Armin's whole point is he says we need more time, like, to get them to come to our side, because we've seen some progress with people like Niccolo. We don't have time. I mean, Zeke's going to run out in, like, 3 years after this, so even if they don't go with his plan, Marley would declaring war on them anyway, so if they just sat here trying to turn all of them, Marley would have invaded and killed them.
They don't know that for sure.
I mean, we know that.
I exclusively agree with Aaron here. Like he said, they just don't have time. Like,
I'm
they have
on
to
Team
affect what they
Armin.
can right now.
Like, in a vacuum,
Because-
Armin's right, but in the real world and in this world, Aaron has a point.
Yeah, but the thing is, Aaron's way of doing things is just going to continue the cycle of violence. They're just going down, it's just, it's because...
It seems that way right now, but with Zeke's plan, it's been a while since Founding Titan has been somebody that's not royal blood. There's no guarantee the cycle will continue. They might be able to figure a way to break it.
Well, no,
I think
that's what Armin
Aaron's
is
saying.
trying to do. But Aaron is in full, like if you go to the end of the chapter. Oh, we'll talk about it at the end of the chapter.
Okay.
And so we've got Aaron. Well, actually, this is kind of going with what I said. Aaron says, we need to buy this time. We'll make it so that they can't mess with us. And he fires a shot. He, makes an offensive action. And as a result, Sasha is shot in reciprocation. And so that's just like showing the cycle of violence.
Actually, I think it's pretty clear here that what happened was Gabby did not shoot Sasha. Aaron did. The bullet traveled through time because of paths.
I agree.
This is ECM revealing.
Oh my god!
Paths mean Aaron killed Sasha. Same bullet. Same gun.
Wait a minute. No, if you look at the end of the chapter, it becomes obvious. Aaron traveled... Gabby is Aaron.
You come back and...
No, dude, it's
again.
obvious. Clearly, Gabby is Aaron de-aged with his memories wiped by his own Founding Titan powers.
And boobs.
And boobs. He had a sex
doesn't
change.
have boobs.
Yeah, a sex change, yeah.
We haven't seen enough of Gabby to confirm that it could just be a DH Aaron with no gender
He's
specific.
also
I've been
a
on Shingo
Gabby has a
hentai.
dick.
Yeah, so if we could start talking about the 10-year-old's boobs, that would be great.
12-year-old. But
Hello
yeah,
there,
no, you're
Mr.
right. That's still
Background.
Oh,
right.
12-year-old, that makes it okay.
No,
Pepper.
I'm just a stickler
Yeah, I
for
never-
details. Gabby is 12. That's just a fact. You got it wrong, and it pissed me off.
Oh, that was Eric. That's like in the pedophilia
I didn't even hear him
activities.
say it.
Eric
Nice.
said 12-year-olds are okay, confirmed.
Confirmed.
So we've got a continuation of Armin's speech or his talk to Annie. He said, "I wonder if just maybe there could have been a different path."
I
And then
told
the-
you! Aaron shot Sasha!
Paths, fucking
end
paths,
card-
fucking paths.
The end card for the chapter, which was taken out in the official translation, says, and they all move forward on their own non-intersecting path.
Ah!
Hey, I just want to say on the page where it says I keep on coming back to that, it looks like everybody's at the funeral and Sasha's just on the ground and everybody's like looking at her body. And
I
Aaron
think that
just is complete
That's
180,
not a
like straight
funeral.
don't give a
That's
yeah, I
fuck.
think they're just unloading her from the blimp.
Yeah.
yeah. That's why
But still,
Gabby.
why is
That's why
everybody
Gabby
looking
and
and
Falco are
Aaron's
there. They're
just
not gonna
like,
just like.
oh, I
Like,
don't care.
even Gabby seems to be mourning her death more than Aaron does at this point.
Yeah, Gabby's eyes are kind of like what, like even though they're double, she's looking kind of like I just killed a human being. Is what her face says to me.
Well, I
Yeah.
mean, Hanji and Yelena and Levi aren't looking either.
I mean, yeah, no, you got a point there. Levi at
I
least
guess
looks
they're
like
not looking.
Hell,
noticeably
they could be standing around her.
Oh,
I was
that's
mad that
true.
Levi
That makes
had like
sense.
no reaction to her death since that's a member of his squad, and he like didn't care.
Wait,
He
no,
didn't
you
leave the
you
room.
can see Aaron isn't even looking at her. You can see him in the background in the first panel on this page. He's like has his hands cuffed like behind his back, and someone's like guiding him along. He's like
Can
near
you
the bottom left.
tell which one is that? Is he getting off right now?
It's like
Is he
on the
getting off
far,
the thing?
it's like
He's
on
not
the
getting
far
off. He's been
left.
off for a little while.
Oh,
at the
yeah,
bottom
he
left.
is.
No.
Okay.
Okay.
I was gonna say you can see him right next to the stretcher because it looks like him with the long hair and everything, but I guess that's not him.
Yeah. And so Armin continues. He's kind of got like the new flock cut right now.
Nah, he
Today
still
was
got
the
that
funeral?
bitch ass bowl cut.
I actually hate Armin's new hair.
Yeah, it's still.
I'm not a huge fan of it either.
I fucking hate it.
Today was the funeral for the 8 soldiers who died in the last operation, including Sasha, and he's feeling up that shell again. I thought I understood Aaron better than anyone, even Mikasa, but I don't understand him anymore. Aaron was ready to
And
do
then
it
we
even by
see-
himself.
We see what it looks like the Survey Corps receiving Aaron's letter, so 100% confirmation went to them, not
Yeah.
Zeke.
That's
So
not
who's
100%
right about
confirmation because we don't know that's the letter.
I think
That's
it's
pretty much
clear from that
100%.
panel.
That's definitely 100%. Why else would they
Armin's just got
be reading a
eyes
random
like
piece of
dinner
paper?
plates. Oh my god, does Armin have an undercut now? Fuck.
What's an
It looks
undercut?
that way. It's got a nice
Never
little
mind.
fade going on.
Yeah.
He's basically got Jean's old haircut, but blonde.
Yeah. And so the thing is, there might have been a chance at peace during those 3 years, but Aaron was going to ruin it either way, and so was the rest of the Survey Corps either had to go with him or just let him do it and ruin the reputation anyways. I almost wonder what would have
And let him
happened if they
die.
tried to stop him as an act of diplomacy.
What do you mean, stop him?
Oh, just like when he went to the festival to start like wrecking shit up, if they came in and tried to subdue him.
Oh. That probably would not have turned out good, because they would have ended up dying anyways.
That
That
might have actually worked because Willie's whole play was about how not all Eldians are bad. He just made Aaron to a scapegoat. So if they went along with that after hearing his play and said, "Yeah, we're good," Aaron's just the one that went rogue, and then like attack him and kill him, and or at least capture him and like save everyone at the festival, then they might have a different view of them.
That would
That's
have
too
also
close to
been
Code
basically
Geass.
Armin's
Yeah.
exact plan from the Uprising strategy, where he says, have a false flag Titan attack, Survey Corps comes in and saves the day to build public support.
Only this one wasn't manipulative in nature. It was just them legitimately trying to save a bunch of people's lives and show people that they
Yeah.
can be good.
They just happened to know about the attack in advance. They didn't plan it.
Yeah.
Just like the U.S. government in 9/11.
Jesus fucking Christ. All right.
Hey, man. Don't get us banned off of SoundCloud.
What, by the U.S. government?
Yep, they're coming for us.
When I was in high school and I was bored and I had a laptop, I would logged into my school laptop, school account and everything. I would just sit there and Google for hours how to join Al Qaeda, how to bomb the White House, how to kill the president, how to make C4, all this illegal shit. I'm probably on so many lists, it's not even funny. But nothing ever happened.
Oh, there's no question. Oh, you're
And
on the
then
watch list.
One time when I was like 10, I edited some random Wikipedia page and it got edited back in like 10 seconds and I was like banned from editing Wikipedia.
Oh my god.
It's like the U.S. government doesn't care
Wikipedia
about
is an
people joining Al Qaeda,
unreliable
but don't you
source.
dare edit Wikipedia.
I see.
Wikipedia mods are on it.
And so Armin's pretty much just
Speaking of
saying, yeah,
terrorist
that was
attacks and mass murder, Armin.
we just grim reminded them it was just like that day. You know,
when you did that
Bunch
to
of
us, you
civilians died.
soulless, heartless bitch.
Yeah, just like you guys that day. Right, Annie? It's revealed he's talking to Annie. And he
Do you
just
think
wants her
Annie
to
can
say
hear him?
something. And
Yes,
I just think
absolutely,
this is
she can.
really interesting that it's just like, he feels like Annie is someone who he has to turn to at this point, which I think kind of shows the degree to which he kind of feels not okay with what Aaron's doing, what the military's doing. I know maybe that's just me reading into things.
Or,
he doesn't have another
Bert's
shifter to
memories
talk
influencing him.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no other shifter to talk to, so
Bert's
might as
Yeah,
well
he just
talk to
said he
Annie.
doesn't feel comfortable talking to Aaron, so.
Bert's memories influencing him, just saying.
Yeah, there's probably some of that too.
But yeah, Saucy asked if Anna could even hear him. Absolutely. We saw that Clitoris could basically hear everything that was going on around her when she was in her crystal. She was looking around. She was shooting daggers with her eyes. All that. So
But is Annie conscious?
I'm pretty certain that.
I think has she aged is
Yeah,
the
I'm
question.
thinking this one might be slightly different, like putting more in like a comatose state. Because the Warhammer's whole thing is that you have to be conscious in the crystal to like control it. This one, yeah, she hasn't eaten in like 4 years, so I feel like it's more of like a comatose thing versus her
this
just
is
sitting
suspended
there.
animation.
Not age?
Her
The
hair's
question
gotten a
is
little
if
longer.
shifters even need to eat because Pav.
That's a good point.
You're
Like,
no, that
like-
one, buddy.
I mean, if their muscles start to atrophy, they can just get repaired.
Yeah, exactly. And they regenerate everything. There's no real reason for shifters to eat. It probably causes them discomfort not to, because humans, but then they just, anything they lose, they just gain back immediately, regen.
And
I
what
feel
would
like
happen if
sunlight
like
would
her
factor
hair...
That
into
wasn't
that.
me joking about paths. That was a legitimate question. I don't think shifters need to eat because paths.
I feel
Yeah,
like I feel like sunlight ultimately factors into that, and she's
but
been in this.
She's been in a dungeon the whole time. Like maybe
Yeah.
if they had like the Reyes crystals in there, because there was that theory that they can provide like nourishment or whatever. But
So, Zeke says something on this next page that kind of confuses me. So your reports say you're victorious. Ignorance is a frightening thing. So does Zeke think that they weren't victorious?
I mean, they kind of weren't.
What do you
He
mean?
probably means that they left out the part where they're going to be imminently counterattacked.
yeah, I agree. I think he means
Yeah.
they're taking it as this massive victory, but they only wiped out like a 20th of their fleet, and they're about to be invaded. Like they're taking it as though they just defeated the country.
Yeah, they're thinking it's like a war victory where it's actually just one battle that they won.
Skirmish even,
And
yeah.
it's gonna think it's
Zeke's
over.
basically
Yeah.
saying, don't publish fake news.
Hmm
All right. So on that note,
What?
Zeke should be in charge of Facebook.
Still more human than Zuckerberg.
Yep.
Levi is just full on Zeke hating, just like, I'm gonna kill you, I'm gonna send it to your, I'm gonna reveal everything about your plot, your parents are gonna get murdered. I have a very
His parents were already
special set
murdered
of
by him.
skills.
One interesting thing is that even if his conspiracy is revealed, like if Peak figures it out and tells them, they still don't know he has royal blood. Like, yeah, they could know he defected and now they have the Beast Titan on their side, but no one on Marley would know or figure out
Which
that he
means
has
if they
royal
invade,
blood. So
they don't expect the Wall Titans.
Also, it doesn't matter.
exactly.
So if they invade, then Wall Titans unleashed.
They know Aaron has some control over it because Willie mentioned that in his speech. He said and now this user of the founder has a reason that can control it without royal blood. So they don't know the details, but they know Aaron
that's
can at least
true.
slightly control it, so they can think.
Can
of
we
it as
even
possible.
believe anything he said though? Like, I don't know. I just feel like all his information is just kind of
I think
spotty.
so. Because I feel like when we've gotten false information in the past, like when we got the Ymir doctrine from Kruger in '86, we were told immediately the next chapter that was false. I feel like Isayama wouldn't give us a narrative and backstory and just lie to us as the audience for this long.
I'm just thinking that I don't even know ever in history if somebody that wasn't royal blood used the founding titan. So I don't know if Zeke is
Well,
gonna
there's never
have
been
some
something in history where someone without the royal blood can create titans either. But here we are with
Exactly.
Zeke, and they still don't suspect a thing.
exactly what
Yeah.
I'm saying, which is when
That's
they
true.
use this coordinate, I don't know how much power Zeke is actually gonna have over the founding titan as well, because it's his
Yeah.
blood that's even being able to awaken this.
Can we just
Oh
talk
yeah,
about how
no,
stupid
Aaron's
the
gonna be in
Marley,
control. He just
how
is
stupid
sure
the
that
Marley
Aaron's gonna be on his
scientist
side.
team is for not figuring out that Zeke is royal blood? Like when Colt's
Oh, yeah,
talking to
they're
you about it,
They're
he's
pretty
like,
fucking stupid, yeah.
he says, you have the exact powers of the founding Titan. Crazy that you don't have royal blood. Like they haven't even thought of that.
Mhm.
Oh my god, you could create Titans. That's something that only the Royals can do normally. Who was your mom again? Oh, never
Well, no,
mind.
it's normally only the founding Titan. They know he doesn't have the
Oh,
founding
by the way,
Titan.
also your brother could control the founding Titan without any royal blood. Huh? Something's up there.
I mean,
they'd be
Yeah.
getting the wrong side of
Actually,
it. They'd
the
be
correct
saying, hey, the Jaegers are royal, not.
Yeah, they
not
could
Zeke
guess that
has-
Grisha might be royal. But in that case,
Yeah.
well, no. Yeah, they could maybe guess that Grisha's royal, which they haven't even done that.
Right. The Marley scientists are pretty.
well,
retarded.
they know about the vow, so probably not.
I'll be.
Anyways, so we finish off this with Falco and Gabby in jail, and then we got
Losers.
Mikasa and what?
Do they even have a toilet in there? They have a sink, but you'd think the toilet
sure
would be
they've
next
got a
to the
toilet.
sink.
The toilet is Falco's mouth. Sorry, my mom decided to unexpectedly come over without telling me.
Oh my
I
god!
hope she didn't hear that.
You actually
Background.
said that.
Oh, I don't
Alright.
give a fuck if she hears that. I said as
okay.
much to her when my mic was muted.
And so then we got Mikasa grabbing her scarf as she repeats the words that Aaron said, finished by Aaron saying them back. If we don't win, we die. If we win, we live. If we don't fight, we can't win. So fight, fight, fight. And exactly. And
She
this
No,
is
Aaron.
what makes me think
Exactly
that
was
Aaron
earlier.
isn't going for a peaceful solution. He is in full kill them all mode, but he's swapped out Titans for humans. He's in full
Mikasa?
we've got to fight to live. He's gonna keep moving forward until all of his enemies are destroyed. That's the mode he's in. I think that Aaron, supported by the fact that he shot that gun, and it was then got reflected by Sasha getting killed. So him
By
going
Aaron.
through this,
Same bullet, same gun.
yeah, and so
Oh, God.
him going through this, and going through the plan at the festival, caused retaliation and is going to cause more retaliation in the future. And he is essentially perpetuating the cycle of revenge. Zeke's plan is going to, according to my theory, be to release the Wall Titans and then use those as a weapon to win this war. And so basically what happens is that
Such an
Aaron and
obvious
Zeke...
plan, though, and Zeke has never done the obvious in this series.
That's
That's
a
true.
good point. So maybe I'm going to be completely dumbfounded, but what I'm thinking is that Aaron and Zeke are therefore the embodiments of the cycle of violence that is the big issue in this show, which is why I think it is, depending on the events of future chapters, it might be reasonable to say that Aaron and Zeke are the new antagonists of the manga.
I can see that.
Then who are the protagonists? Gabby?
I don't know.
Reiner?
Probably Armin at this point.
Everyone trying not to get killed by the Wall Titans, probably.
Yeah, pretty much. I've got
can
the
kind
theory
of see
that,
that.
Infinity War?
I can kind of see that happening with them becoming antagonists, but I feel like the whole point of the Marley arc in this chapter, it's like, here are two sides, which one do you agree with? If they clearly present Aaron's idea is bad, kill him. Armin's idea, who most of you may disagree with, is good. I don't feel like that may
Well,
kind
what I
of
was
go
thinking it
against
was gonna
what
be-
he's
And
trying
the
to do
Marley
here.
ideas as well. There
Yeah,
are many,
is that
many
there'd be
points of
three
view here.
sides.
Especially since we
Is
don't
that-
know what philosophy McGoth's new Marley is going to be following.
You've got Marley and Paradise kind of on a path of mutual destruction. Then you'd have some sort of some third group that are trying, possibly futilely, to stop it, find some new solution that doesn't lead to both sides destroying each other.
I'm telling you, Attack on Titan, Infinity War.
Well, no. What Isayama said is that the ending was supposed to be one along the lines of the Guardians of the Galaxy, and so I call this third group the Guardians of the Galaxy, and I call this my Guardians of the Galaxy theory.
It's
And it'd
funny
be
that
like-
you say that because I was just thinking about how the Guardians of the Galaxy just kind of come out of nowhere in Infinity War to come help.
Yeah, and so basically it'd be like Armin, Jean, Mikasa, Levi, maybe a Falco and Gabby join them, and maybe it's like the Wall Titans end up getting released, and then they try to like stop the Wall Titans after the fact, like get the Founding Titan, get all the Wall Titans to kill themselves, something along those lines. And so basically, like the idea of this constant cycle of retaliation is not the solution.
Yeah,
'Cause,
because if they do use the Wall Titans to destroy the world, they have to destroy like everyone. Like, it's not like you
Yeah, they
destroy
have
the
to just-
Marleyan military and enemy militaries and it ends there. Because if you
And if
even
they
leave
don't
just like some
succeed-
children alive, they would eventually grow up to hate you and could rebel. So you kind of have to kill literally everyone who's
Give
not
me
on
a
your
second.
side.
Okay, so for some reason that I'm not entirely clear on, after I cut out in order to deal with whoever was talking, knocking at my door, I lost all of the footage up until a point, which was actually after the podcast itself had stopped, but I hadn't stopped recording yet. Like the podcast was over, I was making fun of Darth for saying something questionable about lollies. I don't know. And that was like the most recent recording that I had. I'm not entirely sure how I lost the footage. It was only about 2 or 3 minutes, so it's not a big deal. But I'd like to apologize, and I hope you enjoyed this episode anyways.